I thought Gene was gonna be last.
Gene didn't sign up, thank goodness. Let's have a round of applause for Gene not signing up.
Give me a pen.
I've got the list, you're out of here, buddy.
I thought, yeah, we'll just join in with you, Shannon, because we can all sing so great like you. That was fun. And I was also so excited to hear Joe Dan's song, The Pickin' Time. It reminded me when I was a little kid, my mom used to order old albums, those big, we don't know what they are anymore, that you played on your phonograph. And she ordered one spoken word by the actor Walter Brennan, the old guy.
Yeah.
One of those was the Pickin' Time song. And he spoke it. It really brought back memories to me. And I wanted to participate when I got Shannon's email, and I had not practiced whatsoever on my guitar, but I did find 2 poems on my computer at work. So I got one extreme downer poem, which I'm a folk singer and songwriter, and most of mine are, but one isn't a downer, so we'll go for the downer first. Most of the things that I write are drawn from my actual experience. So about 3.5 years ago, my dad passed away. We hadn't always had the best relationship, and I really was worried that he would die and I would not feel anything. And I think maybe that happens to a lot of people about people that they don't get along with. So I had a lot of crazy mixed up feelings about that. And sometimes when I write either a song or occasionally it will be a poem instead of a song. I don't know how that happens, but this was a poem. And you write it and then you kind of feel better about your feelings. So this one is called Flowers for the Living. Crunching across the frozen grass beneath the Christmas sky, I brush the faded plastic flowers from Dad's still mounded grave. My toes hover close to the edge where 5 months passed. I watched his steel vault lower down next to my mother's empty plot. The wind stirs buried memories, the still hot July tint, our clothes sticking to sweaty skin, grief, loss, guilt, and relief. What can allay the fear that more could have been done or said? This discount store wreath I leave will be my penance today. The next one's not quite such a downer. But some of you may know I'm a veterinarian. That's what I do for a living. And I'm lucky enough to get to practice on big cats, which I always wanted to do since I was a little girl that played the piano's age. So I get to do that, which is very cool. And cougars are some of my favorite ones to work on. Where we live out by East Point, we've actually been lucky enough to see about 3 cougars. And one night I was coming back from work and there was a cougar crossing the road in front of me in the dark. I could just barely see her. And she turned around and stopped and looked at me.
Oh.
And it was a really cool experience. So that's what this poem is about. It's called Chance Encounter with the Cougar. She slips between the dark pines and glides across the road in the moonlight, landing softly on the opposite side. Disguised as a moon shadow, her graceful tail gives her away. She looks back at me with luminescent eyes, as if to say, "Who is this interrupting my hunt?" Then disappears into the tall grass.
Thank you very much. Okay, it's probably about 7 or 8 minutes after 9 o'clock, and we wrap it up here shortly. And I don't want to hog the thing, so is there someone who has a song that has already played, or besides Jeannie, that would like to play another song?
Yes.
Talent.
You should play it.
I don't mind, I certainly don't mind, but, you know, and, not to, make light of Jill there, but it reminded me, you know, how things are reminding people of different things. And we had a lady that worked for us for a long time that was very, very up in the years, and she would forget, what was said just minutes before. And my mother died, I don't know how many years ago, it's been a long, long time. And she had a real good sense of humor. She had to put up with me. And I would go into work at least once a week and go in and say, Miss Smith, has my mother called? And she would look up and she'd say, no, sir. And I said, well, that's good because she's been dead now for about 2 years. And she'd get this horrified look on her face. And, you know, I'd go on about my business the next week. You know, Mrs. Smith is my mother called. And it never got old. You know, it was the most wondrous thing. And that's what's for you, Mom. But the, oh, my mother put up so much.
That's really mean, Jack.
It was mean. It was horrible. In fact, that story was actually about Gus. And some of the things that Gus did. So let's not, you know, I was trying to protect the guilty there, but I shouldn't have. Okay. Play my, Linda, do you want to hear the Good For You song, or do you want to hear the one that I've Forgotten You that I played tonight before we left the house?
You just do what you want.
Okay.
There you go.
This song was written, some of you didn't hear me say it earlier, I grabbed the night before I play somewhere, like this afternoon, I grabbed a stack of music and laid it on the table, and she goes through and sorts out what she wants me to play. And I don't know how this song ended up in there because this was a 2009 tune. And so we'll try to pull it off and see if we can, because I never write the music down to any of these, and this goes all the way back to the early 70s. So, and I started writing this with Eric Clapton, and then I turned off the radio and finished it on my own. Are y'all familiar with Layla, the tune by Eric Clapton? That rock and roll tune?
Yes.
Okay. You know that he wrote that about his George Harrison's wife, Patty Boyd, and she was flirting with Eric Clapton, and he wanted her for himself. And so the song "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," Eric Clapton and he were best of friends, and they remained best of friends after Patty Boyd went to Eric Clapton.
Husband-in-law.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, there may have been some kind of payment in there for doing that, but you know, that may be why they remained friends. But anyway, Eric Clapton played on "While My Guitar Gently Weeps." So, you know. But anyway, that was just a little aside there. Okay, here's this little tune. This is one of mine from 2009 called "I've Forgotten You." And let's see if we can pull it up.
Is this a song to Gene?
Yeah, no, that's wishful thinking there.
He does appreciate real talent.
That's it, yes.
All right, can you hold it down a little bit? Well, I've forgotten you. I've forgotten anything about you I ever knew. I've forgotten anything remotely associated with you. Like the way you turned your head when you were amused, or the way your body swayed when the band played the blues, or the way you laughed out loud on your second glass of wine, and the way you counted stars all that moonless night. But I've forgotten you. I've forgotten anything I ever knew about you. I've forgotten anything remotely associated with you. Like the way you let me know if I'd done something wrong, or how you sing off key but keep singing along, and the passion in your voice for anything you believed, and the love in those eyes shining just for me. But I've forgotten you. Well, I've forgotten anything about you I ever knew. I've forgotten everything remotely associated with you. Like the way you made me feel like I won't feel again. Like those nights that last forever, it won't be the same. Like the taste of my tears when I woke to find you gone, and the way I can't let go and keep holding on. But I've forgotten you. I've forgotten everything I ever knew about you. I've forgotten everything remotely associated with you. There you go.
Wow.
All right. I've got a lot of serious music, but you know, this is kind of serious. Maybe I should limit it to one so that somebody else can play. Anybody else want to play? If not, that's fine. I'll go all night here.
I'll say.
You'll play? Okay, yeah. Oh, that was Gene. He was disguising his voice. That is wrong. You know, as I said, I was raised among the Cajuns, and you know, there were many things like, don't worry about the mule that's loaded the wagon. If you gave your input on something and they didn't want your input, they tell you, don't worry about the mule that's loaded the wagon. And you had a better way of doing something. Don't worry about the mule, you load the wagon. And leave it alone, get out of here. And this song is a fairly recent tune. A term came out about a year ago, cray-cray. Did anybody hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, and you know, that guy's cray-cray, all right? So I put that into a Cajun tune, a little light tune for once. Mama said Daddy's gone cray-cray over with a Thibodeau's house. Daddy went over there to fix her plumbing. Now Mom can't get him back out. Daddy's gone cray-cray. Say Daddy gone cray-cray. Yeah, Daddy gone cray-cray over with a Thibodeau's house. The preacher said Daddy's gone cray-cray, drowning in original sin. And every time Daddy comes up for air, the widow drags Daddy back in. Said Daddy's gone cray-cray. Daddy gone cray-cray. Daddy gone cray-cray over with a Thibodeau's house. Everybody said Daddy gone cray-cray. Said me and my brother T-Bo, Climbed up and looked in the widow's window. We both said, go, Daddy, go. Said, Daddy gone cray, cray. Daddy gone cray, cray. Yeah, Daddy gone cray, cray. Over the widow Thibodeau's house. There you go. I try not to sing a lot of those. Uh-oh. Back up. Back up. Okay, this song is a really interesting tune, I thought, anyway. And that's really all that matters because I'm playing it, so. All right. My wife and I were in New York, and which we love to go down to Washington Square, which is where Bob Dylan and all of them got their start. They played in the coffee houses and everything. In fact, last time we were in New York, I got to play at the place where Bob Dylan, and it's called the Bitter End, and got to play on the same stage, and it was just, it was a holy experience. And it didn't matter what you played, you just played. But anyway, we were sitting down in Washington Square early one morning, and I didn't bring a guitar with me. And my wife had told me, bring a guitar, because you know how you are. You're going to get there and you're going to want to get a guitar. And I said, no, I can make it 3 or 4 days. We got there, and we went to Washington Square. There were people out there playing guitar, and my hands started trembling. And so Matt Humanoff's guitar store is right there about 3 blocks off, or 4 blocks off of Washington Square Park. That's the oldest guitar store in New York, and it's a shrine. And you go in there and you take your shoes off and you bow down. It's kind of a prayer rug kind of thing. And you go in, walk past all these fine guitars, and I said, look, I need the cheapest guitar you've got, and I just want to play in Washington Square Park for a while. And then when I'm through with it, I'll bring it back and you guys mail it to me. So I paid $75 for this guitar, and I've still got it at my office. I play it every day. And we went back. Well, we're sitting there at Washington Square Park playing, and this guy walks past me, and he looks at me while I'm sitting there playing. I'm playing some of the classical piece, and he's carrying some pamphlets, and he looks at me and said, and he looks at me very quizzically, and then he starts coming towards me, and then he takes off the other way. And I hollered at him, and you don't say the word holler in New York, but I hollered at him. It's pardon me, sir. And I said, hey, buddy. I said, I want a bike. And I said, what do you got there? So he brings these pamphlets over there, and he sticks one of them in my hand, and then he takes off. I mean, he did not hang around. He left as quickly as he could go. And I thought this ought to be real interesting. So I opened it up, and it's Jews for Jesus. And why that would be such a shock to him, or a shock to me, why he was so terrified of putting it in my hand, I have absolutely no idea. But there was a blank space on the back of that brochure, and so right there that minute I wrote a song called Jews for Jesus. And here it is. This is Jews for Jesus. And it's kind of a Bob Dylan-ish kind of song. Morning down at Washington Square, there were Jews for Jesus everywhere. Leastwise, everywhere I looked, in one direction's all it took. Eternal mysteries in the air, there were Jews for Jesus everywhere. Noonday down at Washington Square, there were bongo beaters, they beat beware. And most had sandals on their feet, to sweating poets kept that beat. I closed my eyes and became scared as the bongo beaters beat beware. Evening down at Washington Square, there were happy children dancing there. Holding hands and skipping free, it all made perfect sense to me. A blink a day, a life a season, all in time, all for a reason. I'm getting up from Washington Square, gonna become rich folks' covert au pair. I'll teach their kids to dream and listen and change the world instead of sitting. Well, nothing ever came from lying in this grass except where the chiggers bit my ass. Invert and multiply just ain't enough, gotta change top down from bottom up. Yeah, morning down in Washington Square, there were Jews for Jesus everywhere. You know, that about wraps it up. I will say, you know, thank you so much for you to come out tonight. And,
Thank you.
And it's been a wonderful evening, and we'll be doing it every month. And I know that may seem persecutory to some of you, but we will do it. And I love the word persecutory. That's, I think, where you go when you die, isn't it? But anyway, those of you that want to stay around for a few more minutes, I'll play a few more songs just for the heck of it. Those of you that want to go, take off. And you know, because the meter's running, you've already paid your $5. It's like a penny for 5 minutes now. You know, so, or is it time for you to go, Jim? You got to go, don't you?
No, we don't.
Does anybody want to stay a while, or you want to go? Anybody stay? Stay a few minutes?
Yeah.
All right. We'll do a few.
Hey Jack, we were gonna give away $50 tonight, right?
Oh yeah, we're gonna give away $50.